Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at how to make a notebook and a matching pen, which as you can see I haven't done just yet, but I will be doing that in a minute. Today I chose to use the Bashful Blue cardstock with Bashful Blue taffeta ribbon, the Summer Picnic Designer Series paper and the Tartan Tangy stamp set. I chose my colours by looking at the Designer Series paper and seeing which colours are in that. And as you can see, it's got Bashful Blue, Old Olive and Real Red, so that's what I've decided to use. Okay, I'm going to start with my notepad. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out one of the front pages, because when we cut the cardstock on the front, we're going to need to know where the holes need to be, and also it tells us how big the front cover is. I'm going to get my paper trimmer out and I'm just going to measure it, and I can tell by looking at my paper trimmer that the front piece of cardstock needs to be just below 15 and it needs to be 10.5 wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of that. I want to make sure that my Designer Series paper comes up just between the holes there so I can put my ribbon in. So I'm just going to measure that for a minute. So I'm going to make my cardstock, my Designer Series paper, 9.5 centimetres up and 10.5 centimetres across. So here's my cardstock, my Designer Series paper, Swap my blades over. And I'm just going to put this to 9.5 centimetres at the bottom of my trimmer and slide it down. And then it needs to be 10.5 centimetres the other way. And that's one of my pieces of Designer Series paper ready. And then I need to do a piece of cardstock to go on the top. Now I'm going to make my piece of cardstock slightly bigger. So I cut it to 10.5 going across. And as you can see, it just overlaps, so that will be sliding underneath there. I'm going to use this piece of paper now and a pencil. And what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to put some adhesive just across the bottom of my blue. And I'm going to line it up with the piece of note paper that I took off. And then I'm going to line up the Designer Series paper as well. And just stick that together so I know that that's then straight. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it over because I don't want to see any of this on the front. And with my pencil, I can find it, I'm going to just draw in the circles so that I know where I want to punch the holes. The holes on this notebook are slightly too close together to use the spiral punch, so we're going to be using the crocodile, and the large circle on the crocodile is just the right size. So I've got all my holes marked down the side, and I'm going to use the large hole on the crocodile, and I'm just going to line up the circles that I've put on there and just punch my holes all the way up the paper. So there we've got the front of our notebook, and you were probably looking at it thinking, Well, how am I going to put that on there? What we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to snip a line from each of the holes along. This doesn't have to be exact because it's just going to slip in. I'm just going to straighten that bit up as well. There we go. So now we've got the slits between each of the rings. Okay, the next thing that we need is we need some Bashful blue ribbon. And I want to wrap this the whole way around the front, so I'm going to make it just slightly longer. I love the Stampin' Up ribbon because you get a whole roll. So now I've got my ribbon cut, I'm going to just slide all the tabs in on my notebook. And you just push those through with your finger. And they should go in really easily. And we're not going to stick these bits because they should stay put once they're through the tabs. All the way down your notebook. And then that should line up just right. What you need to do is you're just going to open it up and you're going to put the adhesive on the front cover just along the edges. And then you're going to close the cover up and just line up the front of your notebook with the front cover, just like that. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and just where I've put the join, I'm going to put the ribbon to cover up the join. And I'm just going to thread it through the spirals with the notebook. Can be a little bit fiddly. And then I'm going to tie my knot in it. You could tie a bow if you wanted to tie a bow. So I'm crossing them over, right over left, left over right. And I'm just pulling. If your ribbon is a little bit baggy, you can just add a dot of adhesive. Just underneath it. And then adjust it on the back just by pulling it a bit tighter.